So when did you become more intentional about how you lived your life?
This is a great question. I think I've always been really self-aware, but a lot of the time I can let that veer into just like an anxiety-ridden existence. I just read this today and it blew my mind. It said anxiety is the intolerance of distress. And that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's so simply said, but also I think living such an intentional life has a lot to do with having that learning mindset because it's about being okay when things don't go right. And knowing and trusting myself to be able to figure it out. And I think so frequently this kind of like learning mindset is framed through this lens of like hustle culture, actually, of like, if you keep learning, you're going to get something out of it. Like it's a very productive kind of capitalistic view. And for me, it's like, no, if you keep learning, you get to enjoy it.
I need to hear that.
Yeah, it's been more the journey of just like, I have this one life to live and not to be like live, laugh, love all of your podcast, but like I have this one life to live and it's up to me to enjoy it. And it doesn't matter, you know, like what I really accomplish at the end of the day. It's how I feel about it. So for me, it's been more in that pursuit of like just being happy with what I am learning. So I think I've always been that way. It's been learning what that means for me and like why I go about my life that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great perspective. Actually, that's what I've been struggling with this year in terms of 2022, because every year I would come up with like a word or an intention for the year. And I struggled so hard a few weeks ago and I finally just let it go. I'm like, why am I putting this pressure on myself? But it still bugs me. Like even now I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of floating this year. And maybe that's the point, right?
Yeah. I saw this other thing that really helped me with that of like, there's this like very capitalistic view to be like, we're always constantly chasing our purpose. What's my purpose? What's my purpose in life? That the idea that you're here to do something. And there's more kind of like this native or indigenous perspective that's like, no, you have the same purpose as a plant. It's just to be. Like, just be. That's all you have to do. And that really helped me. It took me a second. It took me, honestly, a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months to kind of like, really, truly accept that and be like, what if I just was today? What if I like didn't? And that doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything, but I just am, you know, like that really helped me to kind of process through that too.
I love that. Because when you think of a plant, like they just bloom naturally, right? Like they don't try so hard.
And no one is like, that's a bad tree. Like, you know, they're like, oh, wow, that tree did what it did in that place with what it had. Cool.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, you know, like part of the beauty of it is that it doesn't look so like symmetrical or whatever it is, right? And
a tree just does what it knows how to do.
Exactly. Now you're making me rethink all these questions. Okay.